Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else in this room, which is most of you, settle down. We're about to start the actual ceremony. So go back to your tables. Do the whole thing with your butts and the seats and the whole thing. And welcome back to the podium, your Executive Vice President, James Litwell.
Well, good evening again. I'd like to bring to the stage the 2020 Ellery Queen Award winner, the publishing director for Minotaur Books, Kelly Ragland.
Good evening. I'm delighted to be here tonight to reveal our latest winner of the MWA Minotaur Books First Crime Novel Competition. Our wonderful partnership with MWA to identify fresh talent in the field of crime fiction is one of the most joyful rituals of our industry, the thrill of the discovery of a new voice. I'm especially grateful to our judges this year for their incredibly hard work in winnowing the 370 manuscripts we received as submissions down to 8 finalists. The judges were Misty Berry, Michelle Falkoff, Susan Breen, Marcia Talley, Deko Offenord, Robert Rothstein, Michelle Schoenard, and Deborah Goldstein. Thank you so much for all your work. And then we at Minotaur read these last 8 and chose our winner, where the prize is publication and an advance of $10,000. I'm especially grateful to editor Madeline Haupt for captaining this process. This year's winning novel is a cozy-ish mystery called Ghost of a Clue, featuring Lexi, an aspiring B&B owner. The ghost in the title refers to the voice of Lexi's sister, who has lived on inside Lexi's brain ever since she and her and Lexi's mother were killed when she was a teenager. Set in an atmospheric small town in the Poconos, Ghost of a Clue introduces an engaging sleuth with a dramatic history and a charming location. Our winner is a practicing lawyer in the Washington, D.C. area, and also the author of over 20 short stories, including one that was a Derringer Award finalist and one that appeared in Best American Mystery and Suspense. She's also an avid hiker, photographer, and baker. Please join me in congratulating tonight's winner, author Sharon Roth.
Thanks, Kelly, and congratulations, Sharon. It's my pleasure to introduce a woman that is not only one of the hardest working authors I know, she's the most generous, loving, kind, except she has a secret, and that's, you might not know, that she has a little crush on Bradley Cooper. Just a little. But it's my pleasure to introduce a woman I'm proud to call my president, Lisa Scotolini.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I'm very grateful to see you all. We're going to start right in with the awards, and we have a surprise award. It is not in your programs. We've never given this award before. We will never give it again. We couldn't decide what to call it, and somebody said, I think it was Jim, he said, why don't we call it the President's Award? And I'm like, oh, yeah. Tonight, we are giving the President's Award to somebody. Let me explain it to you like this. MWA is a wonderful organization. It has several thousand authors and affiliated types like that. You may imagine that our support staff is legion. I will invite you to guess how many people are on the support staff of MWA. Okay, 1. 5 is straight out. There's not 4. There's not even 3. There is one person who is our everything, everywhere, all at once, and has been, are you ready, for 25 years. 24 turning on 25. That person is Marjorie Flax, and we invented an award for her. Don't you think she deserves it? Marjorie, please come up and get this. She has been giving us the spotlight all these times, and I think it's time you got the spotlight too. You don't have to say anything if you want. You want to say anything?
Yeah.
Say something.
Oh God, the lights are bright. This has been a labor of love. I have this job because of my husband, who one day was walking down 83rd Street and found the Black Orchid for me. And from that day on, I hung out at that store, and I discovered Dorothy L., and I met a lot of people, and I started going to a lot of conferences. Became friends with Laura Lippman, and Laura Lippman decided that she should hire me. And I just will always be grateful for that stuff that happened in a bar in Omaha, and a very drunken night in May. This is just overwhelming. I'm sorry. It's a bad year, and this is like a great way to end the year.
We love you.
Thank you.
We love you. Okay, let's get this party started. First, to give out the Mary Higgins Clark Award, Kent Braithwaite. Where are the presenters? Kent? Kent is a teacher, an activist, and a best-selling author. Kent, come on up. Kent, come up right now. TikTok, Kent.
Good evening. The Mary Higgins Clark Award was established in 2001 by Simon & Schuster Publishers to honor the Mr. MWA Grandmaster and former past MWA President Mary Higgins Clark. It is awarded annually to the crime fiction novel written in the Mary Higgins Clark tradition, according to the standards set out by Mary Higgins Clark herself. The nominees are Five Found Dead by Solana Gentile, Source Books, Poison Pen Press, Savvy Summers and the Sweet Potato Crimes by Sandra Jackson Braun, Macmillan Publishers and Minotaur Books. No Comfort for the Dead by R.P.O. O'Donnell, Crooked Lane Books, All This Could Be Yours by Hank Philip E. Ryan, Macmillan Publishers, Minotaur Books, and Last Dance Before Dawn by Catherine Shulman, Macmillan Publishers, Minotaur Books. And the winner is, this doesn't open. All This Could Be Yours. Simon & Schuster, Mary Higgins Clark Award, Hank Philip E. Ryan. Congratulations.
This is so great. Thank you so much. Look at all of you. You look amazing. That's marvelous. I am in a room full of my heroes. This is quite wonderful. Before I knew that there was Simon & Schuster, and before I knew that there was Mystery Writers of America, I knew there was Mary Higgins Clark. I loved her books. She taught us about storytelling. She taught us about suspense. She taught us about why we love our characters and why we love reading. I got to know her as an author, and I absolutely loved her. I loved her. And let me just paraphrase the closing line of E.B. White's Charlotte's Web. It is not often that someone comes along who is a true friend and a good writer. Mary was both. I am so proud to be part of her literary lineage with Sulari and Sandra and RJ, RP, and Catherine. It was my wonderful agent, Lisa Gallagher, who made this all happen. And the powerhouse team of Minotaur Books. I love you, you are fabulous. And the brilliant, beautiful, gorgeous, fantastic, genius editor who is Kristen Sevick. She would have made me cut most of those words. And to Christina Hogerby at Jane Rotrosen, who is joining me on this wonderful journey. All This Could Be Yours, finally, is about an author on book tour that turns into an absolute disaster. This night is not a disaster. I am so thrilled and so honored. Thank you so much.
And presenting the Sue Grafton Award, Terry Shames, best-selling author, and you all know and love her, former board member as well. Terry, you get to come back up.
Oh, it's so exciting. I get to be up here twice. The G.P. Putnam Sons Sue Grafton Memorial Award was established in 2019 to honor Sue Grafton, and it's presented to the best novel in a series featuring a female protagonist. I first met Sue Grafton when she had just published A is for Alibi, and she was sitting in a tent with a bunch of people at a little funny little conference, and I walked into the tent and she said, "Hi, come over here and sit down by me." And so it gives me the greatest pleasure to present this award tonight. The award nominees are Cold as Hell by Kelly Armstrong, Macmillan Publishers, Minotaur Books. Rage, a novel by Linda Castillo, Macmillan Publishers, Minotaur Books. Fallen Star by Lee Goldberg. Amazon Publishing, Thomas and Mercer. The Red Letter by Daniel G. Miller. Source Books, Poison Pen Press. And Gone in the Night by Joanna Schaffhausen, Macmillan Publishers, Minotaur Books. And the winner is, in this envelope, Gone in the Night by Joanna Schaffhausen. It makes me teary-eyed. I'm so pleased.
Oh, thank you, Terry. Wow.
I'm going to step aside so you can come up here.
Wow, I'm astonished. I guess it's good I scribbled down some words on the Marriott note card here. I hope I can read them. First, obviously, thank you. Huge thanks to G.P. Putnam for sponsoring this award, which is a wonderful way to keep Sue Grafton alive in all our hearts. Thanks also to the judges. I have been a judge, and I know how much work it is, so thank you for giving up a year of your lives to make this night happen. It's such a huge honor, and I'm again shocked, to be nominated alongside all of these great books. I've read them, they're fabulous. If you haven't, go read them. Kinsey Mahone blazed a trail for female characters everywhere, especially PIs. showing they could be every bit as tough, driven, and complex as their male counterparts. I have adored writing Annalisa Vega through all her mistakes and her triumphs. That woman would set herself on fire to bring just one person to justice, and frankly, I love that for her. The question of what justice is and who gets to decide animates both Annalisa and indeed all my books. I believe this is one of the urgent questions of our time. I want to thank everyone who has stood behind me with this book, including all the great folks at Minotaur, especially Kelly Ragland and my fabulous editor, Sally Lotz. My parents, who raised me in a house just stacked with books, especially classic mysteries, and my husband, Garrett, and my daughter, Eleanor, who are the source of all my joy. Thank you again.
And the Lillian Jackson Braun Award will be presented by Melissa McGregor, board member, president of the Southwest chapter of MWA, and a person who actually knows how to curl. She curls. Girl. You curl. Come on up.
I'm a goddess with a broom. What can I say? All right. Good evening. Glasses off. The Lillian Jackson Braun Award was established as a result of a generous endowment by the late author for the best full-length contemporary cozy mystery featuring an amateur sleuth solving a crime, usually murder. So, the nominees tonight are you guys ready? Mrs. Christie at the Mystery Guild Library by Amanda Chapman. Penguin Random House, Berkeley. A Senior Citizen's Guide to Life on the Run by Glenn Florio, Severn House. The Marigold Cottages Murder Collective by Joe Nichols, Macmillan Publishers, Minotaur Books. Murder Two Doors Down by Chuck Storla, Crooked Lane Books. Vera Wong's Guide to Snooping on a Dead Man by Jesse Q. Sutanto, Penguin Random House, Berkeley. And the winner, I can curl, but I can't open an envelope. Let's see. The anticipation, something else. The winner, A Senior Citizen's Guide to Life on the Run by Glenn Florio. Oh, I'm just taking your award. I'm just going to take off your award. Oh, thank you. So much. This for you. Thank you. Before I steal it.
I'm taking it.
Here, I'll give you that too.
Okay, I'm taking it all. I did not have the foresight to scribble things down on the hotel stationery. So here we go, winging it, which is kind of how I felt with this book. Thank you so much for the judges, having been a judge. That is a labor of love, a very intensive labor of love. And to everyone involved in this process, thank you to my wonderful crew at Severn House and my agents, Sarah Yake, who is here tonight, and Richard Curtis. They all believed I could write a much lighter book than I usually do, and I had no idea that I could. So that's pretty wonderful. Thank you to my husband, Scott. We'll have been together 20 years next month, and he has watched me go from all those rejections to this night. Thank you for my parents, who did not allow TV in the house, but lots and lots of books. My father died in January, and he died at the age of 99, alert to the end, with 700 books on his Kindle, and talked, usually reading 3 at a time. And I just want to say, Dad, this is for you. Thank you so much.
And the Robert L. Fish Award will be presented by Kate Hole. She's an award-winning author and a board member on MWA's New York chapter.
So before there was an award, there was a writer. Robert L. Fish knew what it meant to sit in this room as a nominee, and he knew what it meant to walk away with an Edgar twice. His debut novel, The Fugitive, won for Best First Novel in 1962, and a decade later, his short story, Moonlight Gardener, took Best Short Story in 1972. His 1963 novel, Mute Witness, written under the pseudonym Robert L. Pike, was filmed in 1968 as Bullet, starring Steve McQueen. He received 2 additional Edgar nominations for short fiction along the way, the kind of record that tells you someone who appreciated the form deeply and kept returning to it. But what he did next is the part that matters most tonight, because Robert L. Fish chose to give back. His donation to the Mystery Writers of America created an award specifically for debut short fiction, recognizing the best first mystery short story by an American author each year. It's a remarkable act of generosity from someone who clearly remembered what it felt like to be at the beginning. It gives me great pleasure to stand here tonight because I was once on the other side of this moment, a first-time nominee who became the 2024 recipient of the Robert L. Fish Memorial Award. And I know what it means to have your debut short story recognized in a room like this and just full of your writing heroes. So please join me in recognizing the nominees for the 2026 Robert L. Fish Memorial Award. A textbook example by Luis Avalos. How It Happened by Billy K. Fern. Baggage by Rick Marcoux. Blood Surf by Tiffany D. Plunkett. And Grand Theft Auto in the Heart of Screenland by Robert Rothstein. And the winner of the Robert L. Fish Memorial Award goes to How It Happened by Billy K. Fern.
I am flabbergasted. I don't know what to say. I want to thank my husband, Tony, who's staying at home, taking care of all the animals, and my editor, Terry Phillips. And I just don't know what to say. Thank you very much. That's me and my real job. I'm a veterinarian. Thank you.
And the Ellery Queen Award will be presented by Ellen Byron, best-selling author.
Okay, I really admire everyone who hasn't said how nervous they are. I am nervous. John Scognamilio has been an incredibly enthusiastic supporter of my work, But I want to share a quick story that speaks to a characteristic of John's that proved especially important to me during a recent experience. He is unflappable. So in January of 2024, my mother died unexpectedly, and everything having to do with that fell in my lap, as did the proof pages for my first Golden Motel mystery of Very Woodsy Murder. And I was determined not to let my personal crisis interfere with my professional obligations, so I flew to New York to handle the fallout from Mom's death. And while camped out in her townhouse, I tended to the proof pages. And I realized we missed something that really bothered me. I didn't pay off a red herring I'd set up. So I decided the whole thing had to go, so I marked it up, and I deleted it, and I sent the pages winging back to Kensington. We're all in publishing. What's the magic word I said? Proof pages. You were only supposed to delete commas or no typos, and I was getting rid of an entire subplot. Well, this created a bit of a crisis. But they managed to find a way out of it. But in my crazed state, I decided the only way I could make it up for my huge error was to apologize to John in person. So I hop on a train, but first I met with the B of A person to set up my mom's estate, and he hands me this envelope and says, "Whatever you do, these are valuable documents, do not lose them." I was like, never gonna happen. So I made a pit stop in the bathrooms at the Grand Central Station lower level. And you can guess where this is going. Yeah, I left all of that. I was halfway out of Grand Central when I realized I left the valuable documents in the stall. So I run back, and a very nice woman hands them to me, and I go literally running to Kensington. And by the time the elevator doors open and John greeted me, he saw this. I was a mess. He took one look at me. He gave me a hug. He said, "Let's give you a tour of the offices," which he did. And he never said a word about my advanced state of hysteria. He never said a word about my giant faux pas. It was one of the roughest times of my life, and he did exactly what I needed him to do. He is an editor who goes with his gut. His support for his authors is unwavering and inspires them. He embraces writers of color and queer writers, allowing authors like V.M. Burns, Kemper Donovan, and Rob Osler to blossom. John even has his own imprint, designed to boost emerging authors. He has said, "With my imprint, we want to shine a spotlight on new authors and new voices." But he equally supports veteran authors, because if he loves a series idea, he is all in. And I particularly appreciate and benefit from John's commitment to my genre, cozy mysteries. I asked Rob Osler for his thoughts on John, and he wrote back, "I'm tempted to say John is really, really great, but in honor of him, I'll only say John is great." Let's cut out the adverbs. It's truly an honor to present this year's Ellery Queen Award to Kensington's passionate, unflappable, and great editor-in-chief, John Scagnamilio.
Thank you. Anyone who knows me knows that I don't like being in the spotlight. I like being behind the scenes. So when I found out in January that I was getting this award, of course I was thrilled. And then 10 minutes later, it kind of sunk in, oh, you're going to have to give a speech. So I have a little speech. So I'm going to take the glasses off because I've reached that age. And here we go. I'd like to thank MWA and Ellery Queen Mystery Magazine for this award. I wouldn't be standing here tonight if it wasn't for a number of people in my life. The first is my mom, who gave me my love of books and my love of mysteries. I can still remember the first time she took me to our local library, and I can still remember years later when I was older, the first time she put a mystery in my hand. It was a book that had a bright yellow spine, and I remember her saying to me, "This novel is about a girl detective. It's the first of a series that I used to read when I was your age." That girl detective was Nancy Drew. I was instantly hooked, and after I read all the Nancy Drew mysteries, I moved on to the Hardy Boys. And after the Hardy Boys, it was Alfred Hitchcock and the Three Investigators. For those of you who don't know, that was a mystery series in the 70s where Alfred Hitchcock would kind of give an assignment to Jupiter Jones and his two best friends, and they had a clubhouse in a junkyard. And they were my favorite mysteries. And after that, it was anything that had an element of mystery and suspense. And on my own, one of my favorite discoveries as a preteen reader in the 1970s was Lois Duncan, famous for I Know What You Did Last Summer. So when I outgrew the young adult section of the library, I moved into the adult section, and that's where I discovered the Queen of Mystery, Agatha Christie. Hercule Poirot, Miss Marple, Tommy and Tuppence, I burned through all her books. Once I finished with Agatha Christie, I discovered a new rising Queen of Mystery, Mary Higgins Clark, and her debut novel, Where Are the Children, followed by authors such as Lauren Sanders, Dick Francis, P.D. James. My publishing career started in 1986 at Pocket Books. While I was at Pocket, I was taught by a great crew of publishing professionals, Erwin Applebaum, Bill Gross, Gina Centrello, and Linda Marrow, who on my very first day as her assistant gave me a manuscript and said, "Here, why don't you try editing this and then show me what you did?" After 6 years at Pocket, I moved to the publishing house that shaped my career, Kensington. Kensington has always been a wonderful place to work. Over the years, I've had some great mentors and co-workers at Kensington. At the top of the list is the late, great Walter Zacharias, who founded Kensington, as well as his son Stephen and grandson Adam. Past and present co-workers who I'm indebted to include Lynn Cully, Anne Lafarge, Paul Dinnis, Gary Goldstein, Lori Parkin, Joyce Kaplan, and Barbara Bennett, as well as everyone at the Kensington table who came out tonight to cheer me on, and all of my Kensington co-workers who couldn't be here tonight. Last but not least, I have to thank my father, who never said no whenever my brother and I asked him to take us to the library or bookstore. He's also why I'm standing here tonight. And finally, I'd like to thank my better half, Kevin Mathis, who never complains on the weekends when I tell him I have to spend a morning or afternoon editing a manuscript. He loves books as much as I do, and he understands that when a book calls out to you, you have to answer that call. Thank you.
Now to the Raven Award, which will be presented by Jim L'Etoile, our vice president, one of my favorite authors ever, and just all around amazing guy.
That looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Mystery Writers of America bestows the Raven Award from time to time in recognition of outstanding achievement in the mystery field outside the realm of creative writing. Prior awards recipients include Franklin Roosevelt, Bill Clinton, Alfred Hitchcock, Vincent Price, Angela Lansbury. So it's a pretty august list. The Raven has become a symbol of support for our writing community and includes noted reviewers like our own Olene Cogdell, Drew Ann Love, and Bolo Books. It brings together other organizations as Raven Award winners like Crime Writers of Color, VoucherCon, and Left Coast Crime. But independent bookstores are the heart and soul of what we do. The Raven has been presented to notable bookstores in the past like Mysterious Bookshop, Murder by the Book, Mysterious Galaxy, and Poison Pen. Elaine Petruccelli founded Book Passage in 1976. Let that sink in for a moment. 50 years as an independent bookseller. That alone is a testament to their commitment to the genre. There are very few authors in this room who don't consider Book Passage as a critical part of their book tour. When you're bleary-eyed from a road tour, you don't know what city you're in. When you step into the store, you immediately know it's going to be okay. You're in good hands. Elaine, Bill, Catherine, and Louisa make you feel at home because you are. The last 32 years, Book Passage has offered a Mystery Writers Conference where aspiring authors come to learn the craft. 30 years preparing the next generation of authors who will be selling their manuscripts to the publishers in this room. Book Passage has done more to support authors in our genre than we could ever hope for. They are most worthy of the Raven Award. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 2026 Raven Award honoree, Elaine Petruccelli, and the Book Passage family.
Can you see me? Is that everybody here? Yes. I am so excited. I've been excited since January. I've been running around telling my friends I got the Raven Award, and they look at me like I'm nuts, and I am. My husband, Bill Petruccelli, and I, when we were first married, used to go out a lot. That was before we had 4 kids between us. And when we'd go out, we'd go to the local bookstore wherever we were having dinner. And one night, he saw me looking at a book longingly called How to Open a Bookstore. And he bought it for me, and I stayed up all night, and I knew that this is what I wanted to do. I had had another really great job, and I was done with it. So my first author who ever came was a mystery writer. I've been reading mysteries all my life. I love everybody here. I just wish I could spend a night with each of you. Not in bed, just spend the night. But, and that same author later came to me and said, I have this great idea. Why don't we have a mystery writers conference and you'll run it and we'll help you. And so in this room are many authors and editors and publishers who have supported this conference. And I'm so proud of this conference. And our daughter, Catherine, is in charge of the conference. And I saw her tonight during the pre-cocktails, buttonholing a few people. I think that's a really old-fashioned word that my mom would use. But letting them know that we love them and we want them to come back. And I hope all of you will come back to Book Passage. We only have about 15, it feels like 15 events a week, so we want all of you. Louisa Smith came to us when she was 11 years old, when her parents moved to the Bay Area and Mill Valley. She grew up in the store, as did Catherine. I forgot to tell you that when we opened the store in 1976, Catherine was a very little girl, and we made her shelve the books. I don't think she's forgiven me for that yet. But Louisa came to us when she was out of college. Then she went back to graduate school. She came back. She ran our store for a while, and then we realized that she was an incredible mystery buyer. And she took our mystery section and made it far more fabulous. And then she got married, and she moved to Los Altos, which is far away from Corte Madera. And people didn't believe in letting people work at home in those days, except editors. And I said, no way, you can't leave me. You have to be our head buyer, and you can do it from Los Altos. So when she got pregnant, she became our mystery buyer again because she was kind of busy. We don't know how she does what she does, because not only is she the buying director of Book Passage, not only does she lead a book group at Book Passage called Mysteries Abroad. So everyone who's written a mystery set somewhere else, we want your book. And she also is shared. Otto Penzler came to our conference as a faculty member, and I have forgiven him for talking Louisa into joining Mysterious Press, where she is now the editor-in-chief. And going back to Catherine, Catherine not only runs our conference, she works with Tim Malini. Have you heard his voice yet? Heard of him tonight? And Cara Black. And in July, I know some of you in the room are going to be there. Our whole purpose is to help emerging mystery writers become very famous. And that's our goal, that everyone become very famous. My husband, Bill, agreed to leave his law practice after he ran a case in which he beat a publisher that is no longer in business. I think it's his fault. And in a Robinson Patman case, which was considered impossible, it was a federal case, he told me he loved winning. He loved that for a while he was able to level the playing field, and that he hated other lawyers. I'm sorry, Lisa Scozzolini, who were still practicing. I feel very fortunate that he became my partner, and although everyone gives me the awards, he's the one behind there who makes sure that we have money in the bank and that the store succeeds. And of course, in the meantime, he's written 2 mysteries and a couple of nonfiction books. And I just have to say that with these 3 people behind me, I am a very lucky woman because I get to do what I love every single day. And I'd like for Bill to just say a couple words because he's been there through all the good times.
Thanks. This is wonderful. All I can say is to quote the Raven, nevermore. Never have I felt more honored than this group tonight giving us this award. Thank you.
The Best Television Episode Award will be presented by Lee Matthew Goldberg. He's done 16 novels and lots more things besides.
Hi, I'm here to present the best teleplay novel, best teleplay category, which was for wonderful, wonderful television writing that has been done this year. The nominees are End of the Line by Ballard, written by Michael Alemo and Kendall Sherwood by Amazon Fable. The Pilot of Paradise, written by Dan Fogelman from Hulu. Episode 101, The Lowdown, written by Sterling Harjo, FX on Hulu. These Girls, Long Bright River, written by Nikki Toscano and Liz Moore on Peacock. And Yaitso, Big Monster, Dark Winds, written by John Worth and Stephen Paul Judd and AMC. And the winner is Pilot from Paradise by Dan Fogelman. There you. Dan is not here, so taking it on his behalf, and yes, thank you.
The Edgar for Best Juvenile will be presented by Kristen Gray, who used to be a nurse before she started writing mysteries.
Good evening. On behalf of the Juvenile Committee, chaired by Adriana Cuevas, who could not make it this evening, I am delighted to introduce our nominees for Best Juvenile Mysteries this year. Montgomery Bonbon, Murder at the Museum by Alasdair Beckett King, published by Candlewick Press. What Happened Then by Aaron Soderbergh Downing, published by Scholastic Press. A Study in Secrets by Debbie Michiko Florence, published by Simon & Schuster, Aladdin Books. Blood in the Water by Tiffany D. Jackson, published by Scholastic Press. The Midwatch Institute for Wayward Girls by Judith Rossell, published by Penguin Young Readers, Dial Books. And Mystery James Digs Her Own Grave by Allie Russell, published by Random House Children's Books, Delacorte Press. Congratulations all. And the Edgar goes to Blood in the Water, Tiffany D. Jackson.
Oh my God. I did not prepare a speech because I just thought we were just hanging out. So first I want to thank my family. I want to thank my mom, who's in the crowd. Can't really see. She has been supporting me since day one. My dad, I think he's in here somewhere. All of my Marriott family, you're in here too. I know you're watching, so thank you so much. I want to thank my Scholastic family, my editor, Amy, everyone on the team, honestly, God, like you guys you just rock, and it's so amazing. Scholastic came to me and asked me if I would be interested in writing a middle grade thriller, and I was like, are you sure? And they really took a chance on me, and I am just so blessed and honored. I want to also thank my other publishers and stuff who are being so supportive while I, do my thing in different ways. I am not going to cry in front of a room full of killers. But this is my first time being nominated. I've been writing for the past 10 years now. And it is truly, truly an honor to be here. And to be nominated twice, too, is just an honor. I would like to dedicate this to my daughter, my baby girl, Brooklyn, who I wrote this book 4 months postpartum with her. So I didn't think I could be a good writer after having a baby, and it turns out I became one of the best writers. So this is for my baby girl. Thank you.
And the Edgar Award for Best Young Adult will be presented by Kelly Garrett, aka Emmeline Duncan, herself a wonderful author of YA series.
The Young Adult Committee was truly blown away by the talent that we read over the last year, and there were 5 novels that truly stood out. Under the Same Stars by Libba Bray, Macmillan Publishers for Catch Your Death by Ravina Guran, Sourcebooks Fire. This Is Where We Die by Cindy R.X. Who? Sourcebooks Fire. The Scammer by Tiffany D. Jackson, Edgar Award winner. HarperCollins Children's Books. And Codebreaker by Jay Martell, St. Martin's Publishing Group. And the winner is Under the Same Stars by Libba Bray.
Shut the front door. Oh my gosh. Wow. This sure beats not getting asked to senior prom. Suck it, Brian. You had your chance. Oh my gosh, this is so crazy. I am beyond honored. I first have to thank the Mystery Writers of America. Thank you so much. And to the judges. I've never been a judge on anything because people know not to trust me with a decision tougher than chicken or fish. But I would also like to thank the makers of Spanx, because this is not accidental. And related, I would like to thank the New York Fire Department, who will need the jaws of life to get me out of it later. I want to thank my amazing publishers, FSG, Macmillan, because you could not ask for a better team, and also they can throw down on the dance floor. I am so honored to be part of your team. And my brilliant editor, Grace Kendall, she's like a writer's editor. She's everything you would ever want. And I am so lucky to have worked with her. And also my amazing, extraordinary, genius agent Jo Volpe, who, when I said to her, Jo, the problem is that I'm a writer, but also I've kind of gotten addicted to living indoors. And, I have my waitress apron still. I could go back to waiting tables. And she was like, stay the course. You will not end up over an overpass, drinking your own urine from an abandoned Pepsi bottle with 15 feral cats that you act out a musical with. Still kind of into the cat thing, though. I don't know. When I was a child, I did not ask to be put to bed with stories of like Cinderella and princesses. I begged my father to sing me to sleep with Tom Lair's The Irish Ballad. Yes, if you don't know that song, R.I.P. Tom Lair, it's about a young girl who murders every member of her family in gruesome ways. No one was alarmed. 70s parenting was the best. And my father was charmed by this, but my mother said, maybe she should read some mysteries, because she was like, So I began to read mysteries, and I fell in love with them. And the thing about mysteries is that, sure, I wanted to solve it. That was part of it. but really I was awed by the courage of people in these stories and by the hunger for justice to be done. And so when I was writing Under the Same Stars, it was during COVID when we were all separated from one another, and we all felt sort of siloed, and we wondered if we would all be together again. And at the same time, it was the first Trump administration, and I was nervous. And I wanted to know, I needed some hope. And so I wanted to write a mystery that was also about people who had been brave in the past and the arc of justice going forward. And so I wrote this book that I say is about love and resistance. Love as an act of resistance, and resistance as an act of love. And to me, one of the greatest mysteries ever is not what we human beings do to each other, but the fact that in every single time period, we humans come together and fight back. And I think that's pretty extraordinary, and that's one of those awesome mysteries that I can live with. And so thank you so much. And also I want to thank my husband, Simon. We're newlyweds. Thank you so much.
And the Edgar for Best Critical Biographical will be presented by Les Klinger, resident genius, great lawyer, two-time Edgar Award winner, and board member and president of SoCal chapter of MWA.
Thank you. I love being a judge in this category because these books are about us. They're about our genre, how it works, why the stories are told, and about the geniuses who populate this room and those who came before. The nominees in the category of Best Critical Biographical are V is for Venom, Agatha Christie's Chemicals of Death by Catherine Harkup, Bloomsbury Sigma. The Kingdom of Cain, Finding God in the Literature of Darkness by Andrew Clavin, HarperCollins Christian Publishing, Zondervan. Edgar Allan Poe, A Life by Richard Copley, University of Virginia Press. Cooler Than Cool, The Life and Work of Elmore Leonard by C.M. Cushions, HarperCollins publisher, Mariner Books. And Criss Cross, The Making of Hitchcock's dazzling, subversive masterpiece, Strangers on a Train by Stephen Rebello, Hachette Book Group, Running Press. And the Edgar goes to Richard Copley, Edgar Allan Poe, A Life.
My friend. This is fabulous. Thank you, Mystery Writers of America. Thank you, judges. Thank you very much. I've been working on Edgar throughout my career, so I'm especially thrilled to receive an Edgar. And to see his face all around the room, it's just so great. I remember well Edgar Allan Poe's gratitude when, with his visiting guests by the Bronx River near his Fordham cottage, a woman placed an oak leaf wreath upon his head. This Edgar Award is my own oak leaf wreath, and I too am very grateful. I salute my fellow nominees with great respect, and I am happy to thank my good friends, the incomparable collector Susan Taine, and the incomparable book dealer Stephen Lowenthal, who are both here this evening. Thank you both. Here in spirit are my exceptional editor, now the director of the University of Virginia Press, Eric Brandt, and his staff, and my good friends at the Poe Studies Association, the Poe Museum, the American Literature Association, the American Antiquarian Society, the Baxter Society, the Grolier Club, including those at its Zoom happy hour, and the Biographers International Organization, including those at its Zoom biotherapy meetings. I'd also like to give a shout out to Poe friends, Holt Edmonds, Denise Bethel, Barbara Cantalupo, Sandy Petrolinas, Philip Phillips, Jeffrey Savoy, Paul Lewis, and Paul Clemens. And I'd like to close with my thanks and my love to my wonderful wife, Amy Golani, who is here with me, our fabulous children, Emily and Gabe, and my remarkable 100-year-old mother, Irene Copley, who introduced me to the gold bug when I was a boy. Thank you all very much.
And the Edgar Award for Best Fact Crime will be presented by Michael Holy, who used to be a sheriff and a professor before he turned to writing.
Thank God I remembered my glasses. My colleagues and I read over 65, I think it was, true crime mysteries. Most of them were filled with all sorts of grisly, highly detailed, graphic, horrific rapes and murders. I lost track of the body count at about 150. My therapist wishes to thank Mystery Writers of America and the writers for all the overtime that she's getting right now. Anyway, the nominees. Let's see. Where to go here? Magazine. Next. Did I get the right card?
Surprise.
It's a surprise.
Was that fun? We tried to trick you.
Okay, here's that.
I solved
Here's the
that
right
mystery.
one.
There we go.
Can I have that one back, please?
You
Well
may.
done, Marjorie.
Yeah, hey, it happens every 22
you know.
years.
Plot twist, man. Lighten up.
Okay, let's try that again. The first contender here is They Poisoned the World, Life and Death in the Age of Forever Chemicals by Mariah Blake. Blood in the Badge, The Mafia, Two Killer Cops, and a Scandal That Shocked the Nation by Michael Cannell. Murderland, Crime and Bloodlust in the Time of Serial Killers by Carolyn Fraser. Out of the Woods, A Girl, a Killer, and a Lifelong Struggle to Find the Way Home by Greg Olson. And finally, The Story of a Murder, The Wives, the Mistresses, and Dr. Crippen by Hallie Rubenhold. And the winner is going to be Murderland by Carolyn Fraser. Do we have? There she is. Whew.
Wow, I didn't expect this. Thank you to the Mystery Writers of America for recognizing this troubling, and troublesome book. I should thank my longtime editor, Sarah Burchell, and all the people at Penguin Press who helped bring this out. And my good friends, Jeff and William. William is here tonight, who have supported me all along the way. And my husband, Hal Espin, who's at home taking care of our elderly dog. It's very important, I think, that the Mystery Writers of America is recognizing books about crimes against the environment, which are in many ways the worst crimes of all. So thank you very much for this.
Donna was born in Old Virginia and resides there to this day. It's the inspiration for her settings, a place where birds and humor come to play. Her flock of fans, they laugh and clap. Each award is a feather in her cap. She's got a gaggle of them, too many to name. Let's just say she knows her game. Her wit is sharp with some attitude. Hers is a world where doves collude, where ravens and crows and eagles squat. There's wings and beaks in every plot, and peacocks cause big trouble in the village square. And each book is a very punny, foul affair. Lee was born across the pond. He grew up handsome, tall and blonde. He made his home in Brit TV until they said, "You're fired, Lee." Undaunted, he sat down to write and penned a strong and silent type. Soon Lee was writing the best of crime, hitting the lists in the New York Times. He collected awards as writers do, Aeschylus and Dagger to name just two. His hero hit the Hollywood screen, and Lee was honored by the Queen. Reacher drifts from town to town with not a thing to hold him down, with just a toothbrush in his pocket and cold hard justice on his docket. From mischievous birds to drifters who roam, if you write a mystery, this is your home. Tonight we bring out our red carpet treatment to honor these authors for their lifetime achievements, to honor these authors for their lifetime achievements.
Okay, the first Grandmaster Award will be presented by Ellen Crosby to Donna Andrews. Ellen was once an economist for the U.S. Senate. Now we don't need them anymore. And she serves on the MWA board. Ellen? Sorry. Irresistible.
Okay, good evening. I was going to say I was glad I didn't have to follow Libba Bray, but now I'm really sorry I have to follow those videos. So, good evening. I met Donna Andrews more than 25 years ago when we were getting a cup of coffee at Malice Domestic Conference. I had just moved from England to the US, and I didn't know anyone. Donna instantly befriended me, as she does so many new authors, and made sure I met everyone. One of the first people she introduced me to was Ruth Cavan, her then editor at St. Martin's. Although before our introduction, Donna explained that Ruth's first name was actually the Legendary. Not long after our coffee pot meeting at Malice, Donna became my up-the-street neighbor in the D.C. suburbs of Northern Virginia, and soon we were trading names of plumbers, electricians, and handymen. She was my son's school emergency contact. We began carpooling to book events and conferences. That we had our share of adventures, like the time we got stuck in downtown D.C. rush hour traffic on the way to Arena Stage for a panel before a performance of Death on the Nile on the night of the White House Christmas tree lighting. Or the night we were rear-ended on the Washington Beltway driving to an MWA meeting. Fortunately, we were okay because it's the D.C. Beltway. And if you know it, you know no one can drive very fast in our above-mentioned god-awful rush hour traffic. And true confessions, I was driving both times. For more than 20 years, Donna and I shared our works in progress as members of two critique groups, the Rector Lane Irregulars, because we met irregularly, and the Rumpus Writers, a name I will leave unexplained. A New York Times bestselling author, she has written 45 books, 20 short stories, and co-edited 13 anthologies, usually writing more than a book a year. She is so prolific that among the Rumpus Writers meetings, we used to say that Donna had probably finished writing another book, while the rest of us were struggling with editing a chapter. She is well known for volunteering her time and talent, especially to Mystery Writers of America, where she served as executive vice president, as well as being a founding member of the Mid-Atlantic chapter, and later as our chapter president, treasurer, and secretary. She was equally involved in the Chesapeake chapter of Sisters in Crime. And then there are her awards and nominations. I was asked to keep this short, so let me just say that among them are the Lifetime Achievement Award at Malice Domestic and numerous Agathas, Lefties, Barrys, and the Library of Virginia People's Choice Award. She is an avid gardener and a talented photographer who carries a camera everywhere, a Canon, always. Every year for probably the last 20 years, she has put together a calendar of National Geographic-worthy photos, usually plants and flowers from her garden or something that caught her eye during the last year, something from nature, which she sends to her family and friends as a really lovely, thoughtful Christmas gift. She has spent her literary career, 27 years since her first book was published in 1999, with one publisher, Minotaur Books. And in all that time, she has only worked with two editors, Ruth Cavan and her current editor, Pete Wolverton, which is a feat in the publishing world that is nothing short of amazing. Her books are set in her native and much beloved Virginia. They're humorous and filled with heart, earning her a devoted and far-flung group of fans. She has a great sense of humor and is always up for adventure. Years ago, I called her one afternoon and asked if she wanted to go to jail with me. Without missing a beat, she said, sure, what time? Not bothering to ask if I meant that we would do something that would land us in jail, which is not that hard if you live in Washington, break someone out, or if I had something else in mind. In fact, it was a tour of the Fairfax County, Virginia jail. But honestly, I know she would have been game for anything. She is that kind of friend. And so, it is an honor and a privilege to present the Mystery Writers of America 2026 Grandmaster Award to my dear friend, my neighbor, and a wonderful and talented author, Donna Andrews.
And you can hold that so I won't drop it.
I will hold that, all right.
Yes. I did not prepare long remarks because there's like several dozen people out here who want to see who else won. But I did think it was particularly appropriate that I was chosen as Grandmaster. Well, I love being chosen as Grandmaster alongside Lee because he gave me my pseudonym. I'm not using a pseudonym right now, but many years ago, a bunch of us were talking, you know, as one does, about writing kind of subjects. And we were talking about what we would do if we ever wrote a book that was very different from what we were currently writing. And I said, well, if I ever write a dark, grisly, gory serial killer book, Minotaur will probably kill me if I don't use a pseudonym. At which point Lee said, and I won't try to imitate his accent, he said, I've got the perfect pseudonym for you if you do that. You should be Andrew Donner, like the party. I liked it. I haven't had to, I haven't had to use it yet because so far, for some reason, Minotaur is keeping me around for close to 3 decades and 40 books.
I particularly want to thank my editors, the legendary Ruth Cavan and Pete Wolverton, neither of whom can be here tonight. I don't know what Pete's excuse is, but Ruth isn't with us anymore. I'd also like to thank my agent, who apologized that she couldn't be here, but someone gave her a trip to Greece. And she's there now. Hi, Ellen. Ellen Geiger of the Francis Golden Literary Agency. And I also wanted to give a shout out, by the way, to the rest of the Andrews clan in Oakton, Virginia and Blacksburg, Virginia. Wish y'all were here. But I'd particularly like to thank MWA because most of my writing career, I joined MWA about the time I got published. And I've done a lot of volunteer work for MWA. Most of the time it's been pleasurable. All of the time it's felt worthwhile. It feels great to be feeling you're contributing to helping make your genre a better place and to help fight for the rights of writers. So thank you, MWA, for this unexpected and very, very much appreciated honor. Thank you.
And now for our next Grandmaster, Edgar. It will be presented by Maggie Griffin, who has been evidently a goldsmith, a hedge funder, a bookstore owner, and a web maven.
I'm really excited to be here tonight. Like I think all of you, reading is a huge part of my life. And without the work that each and every one of you does out there, my life would be a lot less fun. So I'd like to thank you for that. When I was asked to do this, I realized I've known Lee for a little over 29 years now. And I don't know about you, but I've gotten older, and I think most of you have. He looks the same. It's kind of scary, isn't it? But in all those years, I know one thing. He has been lying to you. I mean, the suave English gentleman, the smartest man in the room, too cool for school, the debonair cigarette. That's all true. I'm really sorry, but that's all true. But the regular like clockwork #1 New York Times bestseller, the manuscripts delivered on time every year, the relentless book touring with a smile on his face. He made that look easy. That's the lie. He works hard. He prepares. He likes to be early. He's that kind of guy. So when you get taken in by that whole sort of James Bond persona, when you meet him, you have to remember, he's actually better than that. So it is my pleasure and delight to introduce Lee as the new Grandmaster of the MWA.
All right. One other thing you don't know about me is I'm totally shameless. I love getting awards. I really do. And this one in particular means so much because I came here from the world of network television, where I agreed with the late great Hunter S. Thompson, who said, television is a blood-filled money trench where pimps and thieves run free and good men go to die. Then he added, and there is a negative side. So I finished with that and started with this, and I did the first book, and then I suddenly sort of raised my eyes to what was around me. And what I found was you all. And you have been the best part of it for me. Literally at every table in this room, there is somebody that has been a big part of my life that I've really enjoyed spending time with, that I've learned from, that has done me favors, that has looked after me, that has helped me and supported me. In this organization particularly, something about it, I don't know what it is, but this is where I was welcomed and where I immediately felt at home. So this one is the best of all. I mean, not to dissuade anybody from giving me more, but this one is definitely the best of them all. I'm deeply grateful to get it, but even more grateful for 29 years of your love and affection and time and companionship. Thank you for that.
So nice. Okay, the Edgar for Best Short Story will be presented by Joe Clifford, another wonderful author.
I know it's an honor to be nominated. Being asked to share something like this is pretty incredible. As somebody called it a labor of love earlier, it's pretty good as labors of love go. Getting to read all these amazing stories was a nice way to spend a few months. Anyway, Best Short Story nominees are, let me take out my glasses, I'm getting too old, I forget, I can't see. There we go, all right. Reading the Night, Strand Magazine by Graham Greene. The One That Got Away, Ellery Queen Mystery Magazine by Charlene Harris. Orphan X, A Mysterious Profile by Greg Hurwitz, Mysterious Bookshop. Lucky Heart, Blood on the Bayou, Case Closed by Tim Mulaney. The Kill Clause, Amazon Original Stories by Lisa Unger. And Julius Katz Draws a Straight Flush, Alfred Hitchcock Mystery Magazine. And that's Dave Zeltzerman. And the winner is Dave Zeltzerman, Julius Katz Draws a Straight Flush.
I did not expect this, especially given the company that I was nominated in, great authors. So since it's a short story, I'm going to keep this very short and succinct. I'd like to thank my wife, Judy, for all of her support and for being my unofficial editor. Another unofficial editor, a good buddy from college, Alan Luther King. I'd like to thank Janet Hutchings for publishing the first Julius Katz. Linda Landrigan for publishing this one. And I'd also like to acknowledge Peter Cantor, who with Penny Publications, spent over 20 years publishing great stories with Alfred Hitchcock and Ellery Queen. Thank you.
Okay, we're in the home stretch. The Edgar for Best Paperback Original will be presented by Kate Flora, herself an award-winning author.
So, heeding Marjorie's dictum that brevity is the soul of wit, I would like to thank my committee who worked tirelessly and wonderfully. And for the Best Paperback Original, the nominees are Listen by Sasha Braunwasser, The Sideways Life of Denny Voss by Holly Kennedy, Broke Road by Matthew Spencer. The Backwater by Vicki Wakefield. And One Death at a Time by Abby Waxman. And the winner is Best Paperback Original, The Backwater by Vicki Wakefield. Do we have someone? Okay, great. Accepting for.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm not Vicky. She's in Australia. I'm Anna Michaels, Senior Editorial Director at Sourcebooks, and I have some remarks from Vicky that I will read to you. She says, I have so much admiration for my fellow nominees and their work. Congratulations to all. I'm endlessly grateful to the team at Sourcebooks and Poison Pen Press for bringing The Backwater all the way from Adelaide, South Australia to New York, United States, and to the Mystery Writers of America and the judges for making a dream that seemed out of reach possible. To be read and acknowledged by one's peers is the highest compliment. I wish I could be there to express what an honor it is for The Backwater to be nominated for a prestigious Edgar Award, let alone win. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, the Edgar for Best First Novel will be presented by Greg Wands, internationally best-selling author of the S.G. Scott thrillers.
All right. This was a superb year for debuts, and these 5 authors truly exemplify that level of excellence. The nominees for Best First Novel are Killer Potential by Hannah Deach, HarperCollins, William Morrow, All the Other Mothers Hate Me by Sarah Harmon, Penguin Random House, G.P. Putnam's Sons, Dead Money by Jacob Kerr, Penguin Random House, Bantam Books, Johnny Careless by Kevin Wade, Macmillan Publishers, Celadon Books, History Lessons by Zoe B. Walbrook, Soho Press, Soho Crime. And the Edgar goes to Dead Money, Jacob Kerr.
Hi. Sorry, just give me a second. Thank you. I'd like to thank the Mystery Writers of America. When I sat down to write Dead Money, I had no idea if anyone would ever read it. I certainly never imagined the possibility of receiving an award this prestigious. It feels deeply surreal and very humbling to be considered among a group as talented as my fellow nominees, and to be joined tonight by the many wonderful writers gathered in this room. Thank you. I'd like to thank my agents, Liz and Noah. I'd like to say a special thank you to Julian, my editor, and the entire team at Ballantine Bantam Dell and Penguin Random House. You made Dead Money the best book that it could be. I'd like to thank my parents and my family for all their years of unconditional support. I hope they're not, but they might be watching on the YouTube stream. If they are, please put the kids to bed. It is way past their bedtime. Dead Money was preceded by decades of extremely mediocre writing, including 200,000 words of excruciating science fiction. My family suffered through all of it with admirable and somewhat convincing attempts at positivity. Thank you. They say that writing is a solitary endeavor. In my case, that's not exactly true. I wrote Dead Money while having 2 boys under the age of 2. This novel simply would not exist without the support and encouragement of my wife, Megan. You've always believed in me, even when I haven't believed in myself. You push me to keep going, even through the chaos of the diaper changes and the sleepless nights. I could not have written a single word of this book without you. Thank you, and I love you. Thank you, everyone.
And the final award, the Edgar for Best Novel, will be presented by S.J. Roseanne. You know her, you love her. 2-time Edgar Award winner herself. A mean hook shot, probably still. Come on up, honey bun.
Yeah, I'm here, even though I know you can't see me. I was not on this committee, so you can't blame me. But I don't have the envelope. Uh-oh, crisis. That was the best short story envelope. Uh-oh. We lost the envelope.
What's this one? Oh, don't worry about the envelope. Just go with it.
Yeah, but then, oh, that is the, oh, this is the envelope. Okay. I was not on this committee, so you can't blame me. The committee couldn't make it, so you know, I'm the B team. The nominees for Best Novel are The Big Empty by Robert Crace, Penguin Random House, G.P. Putnam, Fagin the Thief by Allison Epstein, Penguin Random House, Doubleday, The Dream Hotel by Layla sorry, Lalami, it's my fault, Lalami, Penguin Random House, Pantheon, The Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey, Macmillan, Flatiron, Hardtown by Adam Plantinga, Hachette, Grand Central, The Inheritance by Tricia Saklecha, Penguin Random House, Pamela Dorman, and Presumed Guilty by Scott Turow, Hachette, Grand Central. And now that I do have the envelope, the Edgar goes to The Big Empty by Robert Crace. And Bob is not here. Bob is back in California where he broke his ankle. But we do have a team.
Replacement, yeah. Hi. This is awesome. I am Daphne Durham. I am Bob Crace's editor. He could not be here because he snapped a tendon in his ankle and is recovering. That was maybe too much information, but he had a good reason. I just wanted to let you know. He's so, Bob's been writing for a while, and I've been his editor for a very short time, but I had the chance to work with one of my heroes, and that was a wonderful thing, and I wish that everyone could have that same experience. But he is so delighted and pleased by every nomination and every award, and this just makes him so happy. So thank you.
Okay, well, thank you all for coming. We'll look for you next year, May 5th. Thank you very, very much again. Anyone who won tonight, come over to this side. Yeah, just it. All winners come up to this stage right for your group picture.
Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. Well,